Thank you, Nasima. Thank you, Mika. See, I knew my gut sisters was gonna have my back. Okay, so what was I saying? Nothing big. I was just saying, we're back after the holidays, and I had to take some time off. I was in a really bad car accident, and once I was in that car accident, I was like, listen, I got to take some time to regroup and get myself together. I had to rest. I'm sorry, my dog jumped in here. I had to rest. I had to get my life back together. I had to recalibrate, regroup, because I could have lost my whole life. And there would have been no more love therapies, no more divine feminine group. Isn't that crazy? How like one moment would have changed everything? That is so crazy to me. But I am glad to see you guys here. Amazingly. Let me just text my son really quick because I got to tell him to come get the dog out my room because she is about to get on my nerves. She in here wilding and I don't even know how she got in here. Good evening, Joanna. So y'all, we're gonna have a good time tonight. Well, I feel like we kind of always do, but today we're gonna be having a good topic. This is why the feminine pole should not lead, y'all. I got a lot of good information for us. I want to just break it down for us really well so that we understand. You guys know when I say things, nothing is blanket. Nothing is cookie cutter. Nothing is one size fits all. We know that, right? So because it's not one size fits all, take Zoe, please. Thank you. Because it's not one size fits all, don't take this and be like, oh, she's talking about everything I'm not. What I'm saying is the majority, okay? So just before I get started, I am Tanisha Levon. I am holistic life coach, Reiki master, founder of the Divine Feminine. Want us to reignite our feminine energy on the inside. What this group is for the women that one, either have a masculine man that they want to understand a little bit more so how to navigate, or you want to attract that masculine energy into your life so that you can operate in your divine feminine essence. That is what this group is all about. So I'm not really here for the debating and all that stuff. I'm just here to help, honestly. I'm just here literally to be a support system for those of us that want to move forward in that way, okay? So let's start here. This is not against women at all, y'all. So don't think that this is something negative. It is just enlightenment, okay? Here we go. I personally don't believe that the feminine pole should lead, and why women should not be leaders is what we are going to be speaking to today. All right. So I'm going to make sure I got my notes where I can see them. Okay. Today is going to be a lesson on teaching us how to be our best selves, right? That's what it's all about. All about the divine feminine being our best selves. Okay. To help us understand why things don't always work out well for us when we lead, y'all. All right. So leadership in itself is not bad. In and of itself, leadership is not bad. However, the things that need to be done to lead takes us out of our feminine energy. It takes us out of our organic feminine essence. All right. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember that last video I did, and we were talking about the gifts that women have or the feminine have, right? And our gifts were like love, intuition, magnetism, support. We're good at meditation and prayer. We're good at changing things in the spirit realm. We're childbearing. Our job is to cultivate the children. We are literally like metaphysical and spiritual magicians. Like we change and shift things in the spiritual and energetic realm. Now, what men are the leaders. They're the forerunners. They're the headhunters. They are the heads. They are the top of the food chain. They are the killers. They are logical. They are factual. And they are normally non-emotional. All right. So let's get into it. I'm excited tonight, y'all. And I'm also excited to tell y'all the very example that happened to me today that shows us why the feminine pole should not lead. All right. So let's just start with some basic facts. Y'all know I always got facts for y'all, right? So let's just start. Men physically. We're going to talk about physicality first. Men physically have 50% more muscle mass than women. Period. in general. 50% more muscle mass than, y'all ever know when you a couple, right? You are going your weight loss journey together, and like you're at the gym like every day, and he goes and does like 25 push-ups, and now he looks better, and you're like, wait, how did this happen for you? How did you get your body to look like that quick? I've been going to the gym every single day after work, and all you did was go to the gym, pick up something heavy and put it down, and now you're looking all buff and you lost like 10 pounds. That is because men have 50% more muscle mass than women. And obviously we know muscle burns fat, and that's why they're able to transform quicker than we are. All right. So that's just regular. Like, we know this. Women have about 30% muscle by mass. Okay. While men have about 50% muscle by mass. So that's a very big difference. Gene expression for muscle building is higher in men, and gene expression for fat is higher in women. That is because we need to be cushy. We need to, build for the children. We need to like have the fat to be able to build a whole life on the inside of us, right? Men have high levels of testosterone, meaning that's the hormone that builds muscle for them. It causes certain levels of aggression. All right. You remember, how they would get on steroids back in the day, like in the 80s, and it would give them that overflow of testosterone so that they could build muscle faster. And then what would happen is they would get big, bulky really fast, but then they will also be really mean. And that is because testosterone builds aggression. It builds strength, but women have minimal testosterone levels. Minimal. Now we'll start to see, and I'm getting ahead of myself, that there are women with higher level of testosterone. That's why we have endometriosis, and that's why we have PCOS. And that is because the hormone level of testosterone is growing in your body. And the hormone level of testosterone is growing is because you're overexerting it. You are literally turning yourself masculine from the inside out. But we'll get into more of that later, all right? And let's also look at this. There is not one place on the man's body that is vulnerable besides where he creates his children, his little sac, his testicles. That's it. There is only one area of vulnerability on a man's body. For a woman, our whole body is vulnerable, especially our breasts, our stomachs, because we don't have protection over our womb. We don't have protection over our uterus. I don't know if you notice this, but if you ever try to lift something really heavy, you can feel like the pull in your stomach. And that's because, one, you've overexerted. So this is the things that are happening inside of us. This is physically now, y'all. All right. Physically, everything about us is vulnerable. All right. We get hit with something hard, we run the risk of injuring our uterus, our fallopian tubes, our whole like little V area shape, where we have the tubes, we have the uterus, we have all of that. We are more susceptible to impact because our bodies are softer. So we can bang into a wall and just turn around, bang into a wall, and we'll bruise. And a man could turn around and bang into that same wall and nothing will happen to him. He might not even feel it. All right. Another thing, the stress of leading and doing it all backfires on us. That's why we have body issues. I know I've talked about this before, but I want to reiterate for those of you who are new here and those of you who just need a little refresher course, So again, we have body issues, weight issues. Remember I said cortisol is overproduced when you're stressed out. And David the Dan. Oh, that must be my sister. Hey. So cortisol, when cortisol is overproduced, right, your body holds on to fat in a different way. It holds on to fat in your stomach because it is trying to protect this area in general. All right. We have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. What that means is that the hormones in your body are totally out of whack. They are imbalanced. You have an imbalance of estrogen and testosterone, or progesterone. Progesterone is kind of like the feminine version of testosterone. However, testosterone is being built. We have minimal levels of testosterone in our body. But once we have a significant amount, the symptoms of PCOS causes you, one, to have an issue with your uterine lining, which means it causes you to sometimes come infertile, like a man. You get hair on areas where men get hair, like facial hair, body hair. and you become a little bit bigger in shape differently in stature. Your shoulders become broader, this becomes smaller in here, and you get like muscle in your legs. So like there's a lot that happens with PCOS that people don't talk about. They just be like, oh, it's a hormone imbalance. Listen, most of the time there's a hormone imbalance in your body. It is because of high levels of stress. We are not supposed to be taking certain things on. I don't want to get too far into that because that's a whole nother class that I could talk about, where like holistic health. But you know, that's just a big part of it. Another thing is lupus, uterine fibroids. Okay, fibroids come result of stress. Lupus, there is no real known cause for lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disorder that causes your body to fight against itself. Your cells, your invaders that are supposed to protect you, actually end up turning on you and fighting you. And that's why the symptoms of lupus are different for every single person that it affects. I can have lupus, you can have lupus, somebody else can have lupus, and all of our symptoms will be different. And the reason why is it's because it's you attacking you. Okay? So if listen, again, you guys know that I believe that everything that happens physically happens spiritually first. If that is not a telltale sign of you turning on yourself, you turning on you, I don't know what else is. Okay. So that is like literally your own immune system is attacking your tissues and organs. All right. So listen, and another thing is medical records diagnosis, 78% of all symptoms, diseases, and causes come from stress. So ladies, you have turned against yourself a very long time ago, and your body is just now following suit. Stop taking on too much. It is not good for your health. Literally, it's just not good for us, okay? But outside of how our natural bodies cope with stress, let's talk about how it affects us in regular life, all right? So what's the number one stressor for men and women? I'm so glad y'all asked, right? Not surprisingly, for women, it's relationship loss. When a woman experiences a break in her relationship, that causes immense levels of stress for her. Women are relationally built. We were built to be the counterpart to another. When we are not operating in that counterpart, it causes inadvertent stress for us. The biggest cause of stress for men is performance failure. So men's biggest stress is not being able to perform well in whatever it is that they're doing. Just having to lead, having to raise kids, having to lead a family, having to go to work, having to be the boss. Performance failure is the number one cause of stress for men. And that's because male self-esteem is often built upon adequacy of performance, and female self-esteem is often built upon adequacy of their relationships. If you're a woman who can't keep friends, if you're a woman that can't keep a man, it's hard for a woman to like walk with her head held high, because that is the basis from which we are built upon. And the same for men. If they can't perform well in the duties that they're supposed to do as a man, that's going to be a huge source of stress in your life. All right. So y'all, let me just say this. If a woman's number one cause of stress is based upon her feeling her worth based on her relationships, that is not the makings of a good leader, right? The makings of a good leader, you can't care about relationships when you're leading, all right? You don't lead based on relationships or whether people like you or not. You lead based on what needs to be done for the good of the whole, which means that sometimes individuals don't count. You got to cross off names. You got to take names and check things off. Like, hey, I get it. This is what's going on here, but we're going to have to let you go. It cannot be emotional. There are things like something happened to my husband the other day with his job that he works from home. And the guy was apologizing so much, like, I'm so sorry. I know you're going to have to shift things and change things around. And the first thing my husband said was, why are you apologizing? That's just business. Like, it's just business. I don't need to be coddled. This needs to be done. Now this needs to be done. Like it wasn't like so now what am I supposed to do? Now what am I going to do? Because I've been working from home this whole time and now I got to go. Doesn't matter. Leaders don't lead based on emotions. They don't lead based on feelings. They lead based on statistics and facts, which is totally out of a woman's arena for the most part. Now we can cultivate it, but out of our natural arena, that is not there. All right. Now, men do this very well because men's level of accountability has nothing to do with social constructs. Remember, I said that men are held accountable systematically and women are held accountable socially. So because women are held accountable socially, leaders have to lead beyond the idea of social constructs. You cannot care whether who you're leading likes you. And that is the difference between men and women. Women want to be liked. Women want to be adored. All right. Men's level of accountability has nothing to do with that. They could care less whether they're liked or not. That's why it's easier for the father to discipline the children growing up, because the mom will worry more about if the children is upset, if the children are upset with her after the discipline, where the man is kind of like, I said what I said. Like, go to your room. You're fine. You'll get over it. But the mom's like, oh, well, you think we were too hard on him? Do you think that we think about the emotional impact of how things affect people too much. Now that's a good thing in its right arena, but it is not good in leadership. All right. Women care about if people like them when they lead. All right. So this is another thing. Men don't care about how you feel about them when they're leading a mission at all. They don't care if you like their decision. They don't care about how people feel about them. And they do not sway in their decision making once they make it. Now, here's a thing that we have just learned. It is just like kind of come out is that, you know how we all have a fight or flight reflex when we feel stressed. So now they're saying that men have more of a fight or flight reflex, where women's fight or flight reflex is not fight or flight at all. It is now considered tend and befriend. So when a woman is figuring out like, oh my God, I am stressed, you know what we tend to do? Find another sister that we can talk to that can empathize with us and say, girl, you are so right. Girl, oh my God, let me tell you what I was thinking about that too. So because we tend and befriend, you can't tend and befriend your way in leadership. You just can't. You cannot tend and coddle people's emotions while you're leading them to the stake. Like you just can't do it. Oh my God, yes. Yes. High cholesterol for sure. They better take that lecithin, that vitamin good for high cholesterol, all right? So this is why the activities that men decide to do are always aggressive, right? They do like boxing. Remember I said they'll be like kickboxing, jujitsu, they'll go running. That's how they relieve that fight or flight reflex. Where women's stress levels cause them to seek out other women and rest and rely on them during that time. Tending and befriending does not make for a good leader, y'all. I'm sorry. I mean, while we're busy nursing and nurturing each other's wounds, the war of life is still going on. And I'm over here like, girl, because what happened? Yes. Okay. And then what? And meanwhile, all the houses behind me are burning down because I'm over here tending and befriending. That is the main difference. So it's not, here's the thing, like I said, these things are not bad. They're amazing. And we're supposed to be tending and befriending. That is our gift. That is our right. But it's not a right when you're in the midst of leading something. Now I'm being nice now, y'all, but as I go farther, y'all know, I got to get on this a little bit, okay? Another fact about women, and I know y'all know, we all know this because we all have this tendency, right? Is that our feelings have a tendency to be facts for us. Once we feel something, it don't matter what it is, whether there's any logic attached to it, whether we have any proof or not, it is facts for us. Our feelings are law to us. Once we feel something, we be like, oh no, because I don't like how they did this. I don't like how they did that. And it becomes almost like there is no talking us off the ledge for it, right? So our feelings change from day to day, moment to moment. This is why men think we're crazy. I'm going to tell you, I read something, or maybe my husband was telling me something. I don't know. But either way, they were saying that women are not considered, stop calling women liars. That was the thing. And it was based on the precept that women will say something. Well, let me give an example. Like, let's just say, I don't know, let me make up something hypothetically. My husband comes to me and says, like, I don't think you should work as many hours. And this week, I am full of vitality. I am vivacious. I am feeling amazing this week. I am like, oh my God, I got my goals written down and I'm ready to go and I'm ready to do. And he's like, I think you should, take a little bit more time off work. I feel like you need to rest a little more. And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't feel like that, because I feel like I'm feeling really good this week and da 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 da. And I'm going on about how great I feel. And then next week, I'm a little lower in vitality. And then I say, such and such. He's like, well, I told you to take time off. And I'm like, no, I don't. Well, you did say that, but I mean, that is true. Maybe I should take a little bit of time off. And he'll be like, yeah, but you said that you were feeling good and you had all these plans. And then I'm like, well, no, I didn't really mean it like that. What I meant was, that's because women can only speak our truth in the moment. And I don't know if y'all get that. Women will always speak what their truth is in that very moment. And that's why it always seems like our story is changing, because it is. Because the feeling that I felt when I said that is gone. So now when I'm over here saying this, I don't even remember what you're talking about from over there, because I don't feel like that no more. Like that, we're literally like different people when that happens. What I felt 2 weeks ago is not what I feel now. And now when I say the story, it's going to have a different spin to it, because I don't feel the way I felt when I said it then. And that was something that I was like, oh my God, that is so true. I would remember spats that my husband and I had where he would always be like, yo, what are you talking about? Just last time you said, and I'd be like, what? I don't even remember saying that, but what I'm saying is now this, like, and he'd be like, yo, you can't make this up. Like, and finally, once I realized that, I said, ooh, now I am super aware that this is a tendency and this is going to be something that I watch out for, because that's crazy. That's insane. Like, that's crazy. All right. So that fact about us automatically causes our versions of the story to change, which makes us seem like liars, or seems like we're all over the place. Another thing, y'all know this because we talk about this all the time, is that women have a tendency to honor their happiness and not commitments. The moment that a woman is not happy, we get out of Dodge. That means to her that I don't have to do this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. The moment that something feels like it's not right, we're out. So what we don't understand, which I'm going to get into actually what leadership is, which is why I'm only breaking the ground, because none of this stuff is good for leaders. Leaders cannot leave when they're not happy anymore. Leaders can't leave when they feel funny. Leaders have to see it through to the end. This is why women divorce men and men don't divorce women. No matter how they feel about you or what they're thinking, they are going to see it through to the end. It is very rare that a man will go to court and bust you down with divorce papers. You got to be cheating hard body, or he thinks you're going to divorce him or anyway first. So he's trying to kind of like beat you to punch, like he's already out there kind of dating, doing whatever. And now it's kind of like, I gotta divorce her to kind of like end this whole thing. But it's very rare that a man will just go down and divorce you because they're not happy anymore. That doesn't happen because leaders see things to the end. They don't bail out. That is not what they do. Women, the moment something don't look good, we like, y'all listen. I'm not even gonna get into it yet because we gonna go a little farther. I don't want y'all to think what I'm saying is bad. These are all good traits that we have, y'all. Like we're built to honor whether something feels good to us or not. That is our divine feminine essence. We are built to be like, hey, this don't feel good. Let me get out. This feels amazing. Ooh, let me go. That is moving, kind of like what you would call moving with the spirit. But having to stay in something when you are no longer happy, that is so masculine. It is not even funny. Men are built to deal with the stresses of not being happy. Women are not built to deal with the stresses of not being happy. We have to be happy in order to operate in our divine essence. We have to be joyful. And when we're not, we are stressed, we are sunken, we are drawn in, we are losing weight, we are losing hair. We're not looking good. Our skin loses its vitality. Our body loses its vitality. We're not supposed to be out here in these trenches. Oh. And another thing. This is where it gets a little heavy, you know. We want to go out in this business world and go hard, right? We want to be out here with them. We want to be in the office with them. We want to be, you know, listen, this is the file, and this is this, and this is that, and this is this, and this is that. And then we out here with them. Because like I said, we're intelligent beings. We're bright. We're able to. And then we want to get emotional and have the men next to us that we're competing with, by the way, feel bad for us when we're PMSing or we're cramping or we're emotional today. It doesn't work like that. We don't get to... We have to pick a struggle. We don't get to be out here slaying people, taking names, stepping over dead bodies, leading this, leading that. Oh, you know what? Your time here is over. We're done here. And da da da. You want to be all hard. You want to be the leader. You want to be the boss. You want to be everything. And then all of a sudden, you want somebody to feel bad for you when you got cramps. Girl, if you don't be now, you're sitting here complaining to the man you're competing next to, as though he's supposed to feel bad for you. And he's like, get off the field. What are you doing out here? We got a headache. We're super emotional today. Our boyfriend broke up with us today. And we got to come to work and still perform like they do. See, men have a gift that we don't. They can compartmentalize. You know that, right? My husband can argue with me, right? And I used to say this a long time ago to him. I used to be like, it used to bother me so bad. This was like 10 years ago, but we would argue, right? And then he would go and cut hair, and I would hear him laughing and joking with everybody as though the argument never happened. And now I'm at work like, dang, we're going to have to work this out. We're going to have to figure this out later. Oh my God, I wonder what time he's going to get in because we need to finish talking. And he going on about his day. That is because he has compartmentalized you to a file cabinet that is in the back of his head that says, deal with this when I get home or later or tomorrow. But right here is what's important. Women don't have that ability to compartmentalize that well. It is not a natural trait for us to compartmentalize. Everything is all mushed together, not for men. It is not like that. Men got everybody in a file cabinet. They got everything in a file cabinet. They have you in a file cabinet. They have their children in a file cabinet. They have their kids in a file cabinet. They got their parents in a file cabinet. They got their job, their business, their career, all that separate file cabinet. We are all separate. It is not together. And that's why they can deal with things separately and not bring one to the other. It amazes me sometimes. I'll be like, dag, did they forget? They didn't forget. It's just not, it's not up here. It's back here. That file cabinet locked, sealed, shut. So we don't get to do that, y'all. We don't get to get out here and complain and be like, well, oh my God, I was just out here. Can you help me with my case? Because my stomach is really hurting today. Girl, get off the field. You out here taking a spot from another man that could be sitting in your spot, but then you want people to help you and take your part of the job when you can't do it. You got to take a day off because your cramps are so bad that you can barely stand and medicine don't help, but you got the job over him. Find a creative space, women, because that's where we're good at. Find a creative space, cultivate that, because abundance, prosperity, and finances will always flow to the divinely feminine woman in a creative space. It always does. You will never have to fight for it. You will never have to ask for it. You will never have to go digging. But you will suffer a consequence from trying to lead in a masculine arena. You will. Now hey, I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do. But what I am saying is, if you are going to go out in that field with that heavy armor on out into this world and try to lead something, understand that your armor has many areas of vulnerability that theirs does not. And you're going to be hit first. And I don't know if it's worth it in the end. I'm not really sure. But I'm gonna talk about it. Let me tell you a little bit about my job, right? I have to throw us under the bus a little bit. So I work at a cosmetology school. My cosmetology school is a big school. So we have aesthetics downstairs. We have cosmetology upstairs. We have lashes at night. And then we have clients coming in all day to get work done. So I am the director of aesthetics. I work downstairs with the skincare people because I no longer work upstairs in cosmetology. Now, I have two other people that work upstairs in cosmetology, and then we have an owner who's a woman, and an administrator who's a woman, and our financial aid person, a woman. We have a book, a rule book. When you sign up, this is the book that you are supposed to sign that says, this are the stipulations. If you come in and you don't have all black on, you're supposed to get sent home. If you come in and you have on flip-flops and you're not supposed to have on open-toe shoes, you get sent home. If you miss 3 days in a month unexcused, you get dropped from the program. There's all of these rules and stipulations. Guess how many we go by? None. Because the moment that a student pulls at our heartstrings, the moment that a student says, oh my God, my boyfriend and I were in a fight and I slept in the car and I grabbed my shoes and I just grabbed the wrong ones. I grabbed the flip-flops and not my Crocs. And I live all the way in Hartford and the school's and that's 40 minutes away. So if you want me to go home, I'll go get them. But you know what we say? Oh, no, babe. It's fine. It's fine. You can stay today. That's not leadership. That's tending and befriending. That's what that is. Anytime that they have an excuse that seems viable, that they have something that came up that seems like, oh my God, if that were me, how would I want somebody to treat me? We let them get by. Because that's what we do. And guess what? It has created a culture of them utilizing excuses, their personal life, their personal problems, their arguments with their boyfriend, their issues at home, all end up being thrown at our feet, and we always let them get by. And that's why there is anarchy. I'm like, my boss always says, what do you think is wrong? I said, we don't go by the rules that we've set. We don't go by the rules that we put in black and white that they all signed. The moment that we stop being emotional and start actually holding these students to these rules, regardless of situation and circumstance, that's when we'll have structure. But until we can actively, all of us do it and be on the same page, not me send them home, but then they go in the office and cry and then they let them stay, or not me tell this person they got to go home, or somebody tells somebody they got to go home. And I'm like, well, just stay down here. You don't nobody wear shoes down here anyway. The moment that we can stop doing that, we'll have more structure. But until then, we won't. We absolutely will not. And it is what it is. Women, now, if you're not trying to run it like a tyrant, then yeah, it's good. It's good. But hey, we got to answer to the state. We got to answer to the Department of Health. These rules have to be implemented, because guess what? If somebody shows up unannounced here one day, we could get shut down if they're not abiding by the rules that are set by the state and by the Department of Health. It's crazy. The bottom line is this, y'all. What I am realizing about us as women is that women like the adoration, the leadership, the admiration, the accolades, the applause. We want to be clapped for. We see leadership and it looks glamorous to us, but we don't want the consequences of leadership. And this is why we as women bother me sometimes, because I be like, we want that so much. We will look over there and be like, oh my God, look at how amazing that looks. Look at how awesome that looks. Look at all those accolades they're getting and all that admiration they're getting and adoration. Remember, I said women have an innate need to be adored and loved. We need to feel adored. And when we see that adoration or that admiration anywhere else outside of us, we want it. We covet it. We're like, oh. You ever notice, and I'm not saying that you guys do this, but there are women out here that do this, that they'll see somebody else getting glory and then all of a sudden that's what they want to do? Like, I know y'all have seen it. I know I'm not the only person that have seen this. Like, somebody has seen somebody getting like so much accolades or acknowledgement, and they'll be like, ooh, all of a sudden they want to start that same business and they have no skill to do it. All of a sudden they want to go back to school and do that. All of a sudden that's their dream job. It's not their dream job. The adoration is their dream feeling. That's what it is. And here's another thing. When we see that adoration and we see that glory that other people are getting, even in church, they'll see them in the pulpit and they'll be like, why do you think everybody used to want to be a first lady? Because they get to sit in the pulpit with the husband and wear a dress, and everybody loves the first lady and adoration. And here's another thing about us is we don't care what they had to do to get it. We don't think about the fact that they have had many L's before they had wins. They have had many failures. They have had many times where they have dropped their face in the mud and fallen on their face and been dead broke and sleeping in their car. We don't know the price or the cost that they paid, but we're like, oh, we want that. Sign me up. We want the accolades and the glory of being the leader, but we don't want the consequences of being the leader. And that is the makings of a terrible leader in general. Another thing is, think about when you see another woman getting adoration. You know, if you ever saw somebody walk in, right, and there's a bunch of women somewhere and a woman walks in and she gets a lot of attention, and the first thing a woman will be like is, she not all that. I mean, she all right. It's almost like we can't help ourselves from wanting that same level of adoration and admiration that somebody else is getting without throwing hate on them at the same time. So we'll be like, she all right. Now, it don't count when you're clapping for your friend. It don't count when your friend come in and she look good and everybody like, ooh, and you like, yes, friend, yes. Because just because you clap up your friend and you exalt your friend and you give your friend accolades, that does not mean that you are a woman that uplifts and energizes other women. That means that because this woman is your friend, you're clapping for her. But we should be able to clap for any woman that's still getting that same amount of adoration when she walks into a room. It's just it's unfortunate, you know. I think us as women, we have to start to realize what our tendencies are. We have to become super aware of how we are as people. And I know for me, like when something makes me burn on the inside, something makes me feel a way on the inside, I'll be like, ugh, I don't like how something feels. Then I'll say, okay, that means that my mind is expanding to a new concept or a new perception, or there's a paradigm shift that's happening for me that's going to cause me to expand and develop this thought into something deeper. It is going to cause me to say, what inside of me made me feel like this when this happened? If we're not aware of our tendencies, and instead of shirking them off, like, no, that's not what we do. Women don't do that. No, because I clap for my friends. Stop, like, just shirking it off. Evaluate it. You don't have to die on the hill. You don't have to die on the hill of saying, like, we don't do that. We don't do that. That's not what we do here. That's not what we do. Hold on. Gotta block somebody real quick. Sorry about that, y'all. But it be trolls in here sometimes. So as long as we understand that we have certain tendencies, it will make us be more aware as people, because it is the worst thing ever for a woman to be like, we don't do that. We don't do that. No, because what about when a man does it? What about when men do this? What about when men do that? Because we wouldn't be this way if men weren't like that. Being like that, you're the worst one, because you don't even know you have the tendency, which means that you're unaware of your actions and your intentions a lot of the times. And in your mind, you might feel like they're authentic or organic, and they're actually not. So just do some, self-awareness, some self-evaluating, in that area. All right. So let's not covet that position of leadership. Men do it because they have to. Women do it because we want to. There is a huge difference. So we're just not built for it. But what we are is women are the teachers of the world. We're not the leaders. We're the teachers. See, men have to go up on that hill, tell everybody what to do, delegate things, tell people where they're supposed to be, not care who likes them or not care whose feelings they hurt necessarily or not. This is what we got to do. This is what I said. This is how it has to go. That's what it is. And then women will covet it because it looks glamorous. It looks like, oh, they got so much power. People love them. People love what it is. Being a man is hard. That is not an easy role to have in this world, is being the leader of the world. That's not. And then the men that want the women to lead, they're even more weird. And that's usually because, again, they were coddled too much as kids. See, you ever notice that you might have a small child, a boy, and he wants to play a sport, or he wants to do something, but his first time that he's doing it, he's super, super, super scared. And that's because even young boys recognize this call to leadership at a very young age. They recognize that the team is relying on them, and that if they mess up, it's going to fall on them. And so they'll kind of stay away from it just in general. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to go over there. I don't want to do that. That's because the fear of having to lead, having to do something, having people. When there's a team, everybody has a part. And when you don't do your part, everybody's going to look at you. And they are young enough to know that. So you got to be willing to let your little kids, especially your little boys, fail. And then ask them. And somebody needs to be able to come down on them for the failure. Like, hey, what happened here? And hold them accountable. And then say, okay, so what could you have done better next time? How could we have fixed this for next time? That is going to build and cultivate leadership in your children, especially your young sons growing up. All right. So women are the teachers of the world. Our job is to lead the children, not men. Okay. It's our job as it relates to the kids to make sure that they are growing and cultivated in the way that they should be growing up and being cultivated. That's our first job here, period. Before any other job that you have, if you have children, your first job here is to lead the child that you bore into this world. This is why our world is the way that it is in some instances, because the moms have thrown that away and decided to go work. Now, we know that some women have to work, but some women don't got to work as much as they work. They want to do that. When I had Torelli's, my husband and I were separated. I had to work minimally because my priority was still my kid. I was not going to have my son at a babysitter for 12 and a half hours while I did a shift. Absolutely not. Then who's his mom? The babysitter? I'm his mom. I got to raise him. He has to have my principles. He has to have his dad's principles. He has to have our family's principles. If he's at a babysitter or daycare or wherever, he's not going to have our principles. He's going to be raised by somebody that's being paid to do it. And a lot of women have thrown that by the wayside and here, watch him, watch her. Well, I go over here and do this because that looks like adoration. But your son looking you in your eyes while he's breastfeeding, that's not enough adoration for you because you want that one. It's just super unfortunate to me. So what's missing in our world is our children's first teachers, which is us. I had a situation about a month or so ago, and my husband was like, he was like, did you know that Rel has a TikTok? And I was like, no. And he was like, yeah, he sent me something on TikTok. So he wasn't trying to be sneaky about it because he sent his father something on TikTok. But he was like, were you aware that he had TikTok? Basically saying like, did you sanction that? Did you say it was okay? And I'm like, no, he's not supposed to have no TikTok at all. So now I'm like, okay. So basically he called me almost like, handle it. Like, yeah. So when Torelli's got out of school, I'm like, first of all, you're not even mature enough to have that. I don't even trust that. There's people up there eating Tide Pods. Like, I don't trust that these kids out here are smart enough to not do these TikTok challenges while you're not listening. Delete it now. But he put that leadership right back in my hands, only for the child though, not for him. So the leader leads everything. The leader has the leadership in all areas, and then he delegates who does what. That's why when I said, I think in my last video with the men in the house and they're the leaders of the house. And I know we are like, oh, well, the women, stop trying to orchestrate everything because then he has to follow your leadership. I think I was talking about the devotion program. Listen, he has to be the leader of it all. And then you just help when he delegates you to help. That's it. He is the one. This goes here. This we do this. This we do this. That we do this. This we do this. And then he says, okay, well, I need you to do this part. And you say, oh, okay, I got that part then. No different than any other organization out here. All right. Another point is of where we're supposed to really be in this world is when we have a baby, where's our baby's food at? Like, where's the baby's food? If we didn't have formula, if we didn't have ShopRite, Stop and Shop, Walmart, where's the baby's food? The baby's food is here. This is where the baby's food is, right? So you know what that means? That means the baby's supposed to be here, not over there. The baby's supposed to be here, not over there. So I'm not going to say too much, but it's the woman's job for us to nurture our children physically, mentally, and emotionally. That is our job. That is our leadership role. Women are teachers. We are not leaders. Okay. And I know sometimes we get the two confused because a lot of people be like, well, you leading, you got a women's group. I'm not leading this group. I'm up here when I can be. If my husband say date night, podcast canceled. live video canceled. If my sisters want to go out to happy hour, not tonight. I won't be up here. So no, I'm not really leading. I'm only teaching. I'm giving advice. I'm not, I'm not leading people to the hill and saying, hey, follow me, everybody. No, I don't want that responsibility. No. Now, this is not to say that a woman cannot lead, though. It's just not a natural role for us. We are not natural problem solvers. We are not naturally good at solutions. We are not solution oriented. So the leader has to be solution oriented. That's why. Now, you know this, that women are built with all the eggs they're ever going to have in their lifetime. Ever. We never remake them. And men are constantly regenerating sperm, like minute by minute, daily. They generate thousands over the course of hours of the day. And that's because stress kills cells. Stress kills eggs. Stress kills sperm. Ours don't regenerate. Theirs do. Their bodies, we just keep trying to box with God. We just keep trying to change things. We keep trying to shift things spiritually. There's a reason why they were made the way that they were made, and we were made the way that we were made. Men can handle stress. That is not going to make them infertile. But women, have you guys noticed the level of infertility and how it has risen in the past 10 years? How most women cannot carry their own children, and they barely can even conceive. And it's because our physical bodies are aligning with what we're doing energetically. You want to do something masculine, your body is going to start deteriorating the feminine aspects of you physically. It is never worth it. It's not worth it. So a leader, what is a leader? It is one who has commanding authority or influence. It is the person in charge. And let me visit some other words for leadership that are synonymous, right? We got authority. We got control. We got dominion, domination, power, reign, rule. These are the words associated. Okay? Obligation, responsibility, accountability, duty, commitment, the onus, the liability, the fault. Y'all, we don't do well with none of those things at all. Duty, responsibility, the liability, the fault, obligation, the onus, everything's gonna fall on me. We don't do well with these things, y'all. And let's not count our spas and our nail salons and our bundle businesses and our lash businesses and our hair salons and our podcasts. These are good things. We're leading ourselves. That doesn't really count as you being a leader. Okay. That counts as you having a business, leading yourself, and you got a couple other people that might work there. And if you do like teachings and classes, again, that's a teacher. So a lot of people have like leadership and teaching mixed up. Now, a teacher is a version of a leader, but it is different. Okay. We're talking about real leadership here. Leadership is the precursor to accountability and responsibility. You can't have one without the other. So you cannot be the leader without taking all of the responsibility and the accountability for the things that don't go right. When things don't go right, you don't get to be the leader and blame and say, well, this didn't go right because such and such didn't hand their account paper in. So that's the only reason why this account fell, is because, he didn't give. No, you don't know. You got to take all of it. It's yours. The accountability, the responsibility, it's all yours. Real leadership has obligation attached to it. It has accountability attached to it. It has the faults attached to it. It has the liability attached to it. It has the commitment attached to it. Come hell or high water, it has the responsibility and everything attached to it, and we can't do that. We as women cannot do that. We are not built for it, period. We be lying. I'm not sure if you know this or if you've even seen this before. I actually saw this with my husband and my father growing up, and even now with my husband, is that masculine men take the responsibility for everything. They take the fault for everything. They'll be like, nah, it's on me. I got it. No, that's on me. Because if I hadn't have done that, you wouldn't have done this. So I apologize. So I'm taking the responsibility for this. I'm taking this on. Then they go back to the drawing board and figure out what to do better next time. That's what real leaders do. Even if you try to take the blame, they'll be like, oh, no. I'm not going to let you take that. I'm not going to let you take that. That's all on me. That's on me. I should have done this. I should have done that. Women, we would never. We are so only attracted to the glory of leadership. It is not even funny. Not realizing that all of that glory and adoration comes at a tremendous cost. But we don't count the cost. We don't count that. We just see the results. We see the men in leadership. We see the money. We see the accolades. We see the glory that comes with it. Not realizing that we're only looking at about 20 percentile man anyway. We're looking at the 20% of the men in this stature and in this category saying we want it, when that's not even the reality for most men, and we're still coveting the position. It's like you're coveting it. Why? You're not even looking at the consequences. We are coveting the glamour of the position, but not the reality of the position. We are designed to be adored, loved, and admired. And the moment that we see that happening for somebody else, we want to jump on board. So we don't understand what leadership actually entails. Who's calling me? I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody's calling. Okay. Once we realize how much so that we are designed to honor our happiness, and men are designed to honor their commitments, we will be much further. We need to have an understanding that that's just how we're wired. We will get the hell out of Dodge the moment that we feel unhappy or uncomfortable in something. The moment something costs too much, the moment something is too uncomfortable, the moment something causes too much stress, too much turmoil, too hard for us, too much work, we're not built to stay in it come hell or high water. But that's what leaders do. They have to stay. Come hell or high water, no matter how uncomfortable a situation is, they have to stay in it and take the accountability and the ownership and the onus for what's going on. When we get into something, we're not built to stick it out no matter how uncomfortable we get. Not like men are. Just look at the divorce rate, right? It's 67% and climbing at this point, and mainly filed by women. We will love somebody so much, right? Have kids, build a family. And the moment it gets uncomfortable or hard, or you have to deal with something you thought you wouldn't have or shouldn't have, well, I'm out. Bye, hubby. Bye. Come on, kids. We out. Because I thought that this was going to be better. I thought this was going to feel better. I thought we was going to be better. I thought my relationship was going to be better. And it's not. So I got to go. We are not built to deal with the suffering of our decisions. We're not. We have to tell the truth and shame the devil. That's why we be control, alt, deleting the babies and returning them to sender, because we can't always deal with the consequences of our decisions. We are not built to be 100% accountable. We're not built to be 100% responsible. We're just not built for it. And the moment that we learn, acknowledge, recognize that, and hone it in, like, we're not built for that, we'll be better off as people in general. We always want to know that there is an out. We're not built to stay. The feminine pole is not built to endure and stay in hardship. We're just not. We're not built to stay in hardship. No. We are designed by God and nature itself to retreat when things get tough, when things get bad, when things get out of hand. We're done. We're out. This is too much. This hurts too bad. I can't stay here. I'm going to destroy myself if I stay here. That's how we're built. We're not built with come hell or high water, we got to stay. And the worst part about it is we're not even aware that that's our true nature, that we're built to retreat when things get tough. We are built to be like, oops, gotta go. Let me get up out of here. Fire's too hot in here. And these to be the main ones arguing us down. Women can lead. Yes, they can. We can do that. Women can lead. Yes, we can. We can do it. Yes. Don't even realize that you're the main one that will run when things get tough. Because that's what we do. At least if you're aware, you could be like, well, we do have that tendency. So when things do get tough, you recognize, like, I want to run, but I'm not, because I know that that's what we would normally do, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay. But again, staying when things get rough and tough, comes at a cost too. But, a day's in, we have to just understand that this is our nature. That's how it goes. Think about it. Work gets too hard, we quit. We don't know who the daddy is. We control or delete the baby. We not happy or our husband cheats, we leave the marriage, no matter who else it may hurt. Boss get on our nerves, we looking for another job on the work computer. That was the job that we at. Boss get on our nerves, we right at work, like, on Indeed, on the clock, on their clock. Our boyfriend act up, we out. Too cold, we leave. Line too long, we out. We don't like doing our natural hair, we wig. No matter what it is, if we see or deem it too difficult, we retreat, we leave, period. That's what we do. And another thing about the leader is because the accountability and the responsibility fall on the leader, they are the ones that have to sacrifice themselves for the good of the whole. Think about it. There are thousands of men who have sacrificed their own lives for the sake of others. It's an honor for them to do that. That is an honor for them to sacrifice and lay themselves on the altar for the sake of other people. They love that. That's what you see men in war. They will throw themselves in the trenches just for one of their laymen. They will throw their life so that somebody else can live. We're not doing that. No, it's an honor for them to die in combat. It's an honor to run into a burning building knowing you may not come out. Those firefighters risk their lives. They run into a burning building knowing for a fact that they might not make it out this time. And yet they still run in. It's an honor for them to stand up for the sake of others. It's an honor for them to be like, you know what? No. Take me instead. If there's a home invasion, I guarantee you it would be the man in your household that said, no, leave my wife and kids alone. Take me. I'll go. Take whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. Kill me, but leave them alone, please. Women can't stand breaking a nail, let alone putting their life on the line for somebody else. It's crazy. And the only time that we would do it is if it came to our children. Then we would say, take me. Please leave my kids alone. Please. Once again, proving my point that women are only the teachers and leaders of children, because we would be willing to lay our life down for kids. It is very rare that women will lay their life down for grown men. So there's a hierarchy here. There's tiers. There's men laying their life down for the good of the whole, for all. And there's women that will lay her life down for the good of the children. It is not opposite. So when women say, oh, well, yeah, because we stand up for our men. No, we don't. No, we don't. Just because we go out and raise some signs and protest or say, stop killing us, that doesn't really count. We don't do that. Because ain't nobody laying their life down so that their man can live. Nobody. Because I just want to know if any of y'all have seen a woman, throw herself on an altar to sacrifice herself for the good of a grown man. Maybe I'm wrong. Put it in the comments. Somebody, not a movie, real life. Somebody that threw themselves into harm's way to save their man. When you find it, you tag it in here so I can see it, okay? Because I've never seen it. Another thing about leadership, the captain goes down with the ship. Captain goes down with the ship. The pilot goes down with the plane. The leader goes down with everybody. So even though there's certain people that can be saved, you can't be. You got to stay and drown. Remember Titanic? Remember how they were like, sir, we got a boat for you. And he just walked away and went back into his ship and where his rudder was and his steering wheel. And he went and let the water just overtake him because he knew that it was his job to go down with the ship. That's your job. You can't shirk that responsibility. You got to go down with the ship. All right. They take honor in that. They sign up for these things. These are things that they know when they sign up for this. And here we go. We want to be the leader. Sit down. No, you don't. You don't. You don't. Because when something go bump in the night, I'm not the leader of the house. There's enough masculine energy and testosterone to go see what that noise is. But I promise you this, it is not going to be me first. I will be calling 911 while y'all figure that out. Okay? Because I'm not. I was about to say, when things go bump in the night, who's getting up? You. Okay, it's your turn this time. You go get up and check and see what that was. We gotta pick. We can't keep trying to have both. Like, oh, well, I want to be a submissive woman, but I want to be the leader too. And I want to be this, but I want to be this too. You cannot do all of it, okay? All right? Because listen, y'all know in the Titanic how that man grabbed that baby and was like, I'm all he has. And he got on the boat knowing that he wasn't supposed to get on one. That would be most women. Most people would have been knocking people out the way to get on that boat, especially a woman. Nobody's saying, I'm going to stay in the boat and go down with it. Because that's honorable. Said not one woman, never. I'm going to go down with all of this because we can't even take the blame for a file being filed wrong without blaming it on the water boy or the accountant or the other person in the office. Somebody call you in the office, and it's very rare that you're like, I take full responsibility. How often is it that you know that somebody else did it, but you take full responsibility for it because you were the team leader? Even though you know Joanne did it, but you like, you know what, ma'am, I'm sorry. I will take full accountability and responsibility for this mistake. It will never happen again. No, you're going to go in there and be like, well, that was Joanne's file. Joanne probably should have put it in there because I gave it to her. So it's her. We'll do that in a minute. We just aren't built for it. That's why the feminine pole shouldn't lead. We're not meant for leadership. Leadership makes the tough decisions. Leadership has the good of the whole in mind, not just yourself and not just kids. And leaders are not swayed by emotions and feelings. They're not. Leaders get the glory, but they also get the responsibility, the liabilities, and the accountability. So let them have their glory because they get all the bad that comes along with it too. You cannot want the glory of something and not want the troubles and the consequences and the bad side that comes along with it either. We only want the good glamorous sides of leadership, but we don't want the part that comes along with it. Leaders are not befriending who they're leading. Leaders don't need necessarily who they're leading. And the leaders take the fall no matter who else was involved or no matter who else made the error. The leader is going to take the responsibility. So ladies, let's just be honest. Are you willing to go down with the shit? I'm not. I don't want to go down with the shit. Okay. Are you willing to, when there's a risk to the life of everyone, say, take me? Take me. You willing to be the hero and be like, hey, come on. I'm gonna lay my life down. Save all these people and you take me. There's a whole bunch of men around and you're stepping up going, take me. Save all these people. Save all these men. Save all this stuff. Save all these children and men. Take me. I'll go. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. No, we're not. And if you are very few and far in between, okay? Look at all the hero movies, the inspirational movies, Titanic, Men of Honor, Courage Under Fire, Man on Fire. All the movies where the men or the people are the heroes and the leaders, they're willing to sacrifice their entire life for the good of the whole. We're just not meant. We're just not built. We don't have it in us like they do. So let's just leave it to them, please. Please, because we're hurting ourselves in the process. We are coming down with all of these issues and ailments and stress. Let's try to stay in our creative spaces as much and as often as we possibly can, because we're killing ourselves off. Literally killing ourselves off, like wiping ourselves off. So with that being said, I didn't even get into everything I wanted to get tonight because I wanted to be nice, because my next one not going to be like crazy, but you know, my next one is going to be a little bit different. But I just wanted us to understand that this is not a natural role for us. Teaching, showing, a way shower, helping women to expand in creative spaces. That is a gift for us. Leading things, trying to lead a household, lead the world. These things are going to do nothing but cause stress to us. And they're not going to be beneficial to us in the long run. But again, when you have a leader, you can be the delegation of help to the leader, but you're not supposed to be the leader. And that's, that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want y'all to, be like, oh, well, again, it's not a blanket. It's not a one size fits all, but it's mainly, to keep us in our divine feminine essence. so that we're operating well. I will tell y'all a story next time. I don't want to say it tonight. But um yeah. And it actually was something that happened today that actually proved to me why the female pole should not be in leadership. But I'm gonna add it to next ones because I think it'll fit better in that one. But with that being said, I am going to let you guys go and have an amazing night. I didn't want to keep you guys too long because my last one, it was like 2 hours, and I was like, that was crazy. So I don't want it to be that long, but I wish you guys a very awesome, awesome night. And now my life has changed and shifted just a little bit. So I do have like physical therapy and stuff that I got to do. So my days are going to be different. I'm going to try to stick to a certain day, and I think it's probably going to be Mondays now, just because my brother wants to do something with me, and I might have to do that on a separate day. So um, I love y'all, and I want you guys to just have a good night and look out for my next one. All right, bye.